everyone, and welcome to Happyness Journey Extras, a TV program that will decipher the dating code of the 21st century. My name is Nick Stearns, and I'm the host for today's episode. With us today, we have Dr. Joshua Cohen, a licensed psychologist. Welcome, Dr. Cohen.
Thank you.
Today's show will cover communication challenges between couples, the importance of being self-aware, and other issues. Dr. Cohen, I'd like to start with you. Can you share with us a little bit about yourself and how you got interested in helping others work on their own communication skills?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I am a psychologist in Rockville, Maryland, and my practice includes working with adolescents and adults ages 14 and up. And a large part of my practice is dedicated to working with couples who are having relationship challenges, most of which are focused around communication issues.
So Dr. Cohen, if communication, if effective communication is the key to healthy relationships, what exactly constitutes effective communicating?
So from my perspective, a lot of healthy communication really focuses on the receiver of the information, not the sender. If one can learn about ways that the receiver of the information, the person you're communicating with, is going to best receive the information, then one can use that mechanism to try to help facilitate communication. So for example, Dr. Gary Chapman in the book, The 5 Love Languages, which is a phenomenal book on couples communication. He talks about understanding one's partner and what makes them feel loved, cared for, and understood. If one can communicate through mechanisms that allows one to feel loved and cared for and understood, then the communication is likely to be most effective.
That's really helpful. It sounds like if someone's feeling really safe and comfortable, they'll be able to communicate better.
Absolutely.
What is one way for us to really know if a message truly is being communicated effectively, that it really is received in the way that we intended it to be?
So in my office, one of the things that I use to help people understand effective communication is a commonly used tool called mirroring and validating. The way it works is when somebody is able to hear what somebody else is trying to communicate, and they can validate that they've actually heard it, and the person feels validated having said it, then good communication usually is facilitated. So what one does is the sender of information shares a small piece of information. The receiver of that information then repeats back or mirrors exactly what the sender said. There are many steps that go on in the therapeutic process, but ultimately what happens is the sender of the information feels heard, perhaps for the first time in a long time. And when that happens and they feel good about it and the person who listened carefully feels good about it, they've started a process of effective communication.
That is absolutely wonderful and so helpful. I can imagine just how good it must feel for folks to really be communicating their messages effectively and really being heard.
Yeah.
This is fascinating, and when we come back in just a couple of minutes, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to continue this incredible conversation with Dr. Joshua Cohen, who's going to really share with us a little bit more about how we can improve our own communication skills in our relationships. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Hi, I'm Sads. We're here at the MCM Studios in Rockville, and I'm here because a couple of students in our studio tech class had some questions about one of the positions that we learned in that class called technical directing, or TD, or switcher. Let's go inside and talk to Omri about those questions.
This is what we used to do to change different shots, control different keys. So first thing what you want to do is reset it. So with the two buttons right here, all in all, you press them simultaneously together and you reset the board. Now you just to set up real quickly, you want to set up your CG key. Okay. So you click on the CG button on the keyer bus and it appears right here on the keyers panel. And now you're ready to start switching. Next, you can set the frame rate for your transitions, okay. Which you can do right here on the global memory panel. Okay. So for example, if I want to change my frame rate for my dissolve, so all I have to do is do a MLE rate, and let's change it to, let's say, 50 frames per second. Enter, and it changed it to 50 right here.
So how do you actually ready shots and change shots? How does that work?
Okay, so right here you have your preview bus, and right here you have your program bus, which corresponds with the preview and program monitors. So I can ready a shot right here. Let's say I ready camera 3, and I can take it right here. Okay. Cut is actually take. Okay. Or if I want to dissolve it, it has to be on dissolve right here, and I can click on auto trans right here. So I can select any camera and decide if I want to mix it or take it.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Nick Stearns, and I'm here with Dr. Joshua Cohen, an expert in relationships. Dr. Cohen, I'd like to pick up where we left off prior to the break, talking about relationships. Sometimes people want to be known as straight shooters, that they're blunt and they get their points across right away and they're very clear. And I'm wondering, can that backfire? Is that approach something that could backfire in a relationship?
That approach can absolutely backfire. There's certainly admirable qualities about being able to be direct and being able to be clear in communication. But a lot of times straight shooters don't filter exactly what it is that they want to say, and they can wind up offending in the process of giving information. If somebody wants to say what they think, they also need to think about what they say. And in so doing, being able to share information clearly and directly but kindly is very important. So for example, if my spouse is always late for appointments or things that we're doing, and I were to say to her, you know, you're always late and I think you don't care about spending time with me and it's really offensive, that's clear and straight and direct information, but probably not going to be received very well. If instead I say, when we're late for an event, it winds up making me feel unimportant and it upsets me and hurts my feelings, that's giving all of the same information, stating how I feel and why I feel that way, but it's doing so in a way where I'm using I statements, not you statements, and it reduces accusation and opens the door for more communication.
That's an amazing technique that I can see could be helpful in relationships that are in marriages, but also just sounds like anywhere when we're communicating.
Absolutely. As soon as people start talking about you and what you did or what you didn't do, others get defensive, and that tends to shut down communication as opposed to open it up.
That's wonderful. Thank you for that. Communication should have a lot of positive statements just because. Can you elaborate a little bit on that and the philosophy of that?
Sure. I think that communication is not an isolated incident or a discrete moment in time. It's an ongoing process. And so people should be sharing positive thoughts, positive experiences, and positive reception of information. If you say something kind to me, I should tell you that makes me feel happy when you say that, or it makes me smile. In doing that, you now know something about the way I receive information, and going forward, we can continue an effective communication style, because you're going to say things knowing what's going to make me happy, and I'm going to let you know exactly how I feel.
That's wonderful advice. Dr. Cohen, I'm curious, how do some of these other modes of communication, such as Facebook and texting, Snapchat, has that really changed the landscape for us in terms of interpersonal relationships at all?
It's changed the landscape tremendously, and these forms of communication, these mediums, are here to stay. So we need to adapt our interaction style to be sure that we make them effective. What that means is when somebody is sending a text and says something in a joking manner that they didn't indicate with an emoji or a comment that it was a joke.
Right.
People need to be able to withhold judgment until a conversation filled with emotion and information can be shared. The purpose of the information that was shared in the text may or may not have come across the way they wanted it to. In addition, the information is transmitted so quickly and so at any given time that when people send a text, for example, they want an immediate response, or they anticipate an immediate response. When that doesn't happen, a lot of times feelings are hurt or questions get raised about what is happening at the other end of that text. So setting realistic expectations is important in order to establish healthy communication.
Wow, well, thank you. All of this, is really incredibly helpful, and we've covered so much territory here today. If you could summarize for our audience, our conversation, that they could take away 3 things that would help them in their communication, what 3 things would you share for them?
Pay attention to what the person to whom you are communicating, how they receive information. Listen to them. Secondly, be kind and share happy, healthy information with the person you're communicating with. And thirdly, be aware that many forms of communication these days are not necessarily clear, and that we need to withhold judgment.
Thank you so much. This has been incredibly helpful, and I think for all of us to be able to stop, and you said something earlier, and I'd like you to repeat it. It was really so eloquent. You said thinking about what you say and saying what you think.
If somebody wants to say what they think, they need to think about what they say.
Powerful words, incredibly. Thank you so much. And that's all the time that we have today. I would like to thank Dr. Joshua Cohen for providing us with just incredible insights on communication and how we can communicate better with our significant others so that we too can have healthy relationships. If you would like to contact Dr. Cohen, please send an email to Joshua M. Cohen, PhD, at verizon.net. On June 5th, Dr. Dan Amzalag will host a discussion panel which will include Dr. Cohen on how to better communicate with your mate or date. And if you would like to participate, please call Dr. Dan Amzalag at 877-963-7283 for more information and to reserve your seat. Space is limited, so act fast. And finally, we hope you've enjoyed today's show. My name is Nick Stearns. Please go to Happyness Journey YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/user/ProAce International. Dr. Cohen, it's been incredibly helpful today. Thank you so much, and on behalf of everyone here at Happyness Journeys, thank you for being with us. Until next time, see you then.